Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be looking at Ethereum. We've had a nice strong move up here, so we're going to discuss what this could be and what we need to be aware of in the long run here. There is still the potential that we are looking for, a bigger move up here towards this 2465 within a bigger third wave, which could be building up here, and then we're looking to push to the upside. So there are bullish scenarios here, but there is also that bearish scenario where we could still see a move back down towards the 1643 to this 1458 area. And then potentially, if we start to lose this zone of this 1458, basically we'll be looking for this lower support zone here of this 1406 to this 1206. So these are lower support zones that we have beneath us. For as long as we continue to set these higher highs, higher lows, potentially we do have that possibility of continuation here. But we need to just be careful of this move that we could actually still see a little bit of a flush out if we are looking to continue up, where instead of counting this in this manner, we would look for that possibility that we have a 1 here, and we're still looking for a 2, where this is becoming something like a flat correction within this space, and then we would be looking for that possibility of a 1, 2, and then looking for that progression to the upside here. There is also another way of looking at this, where we look potentially to have a diagonal to the upside here. We're going to discuss this as well. So we need to just be aware that those bearish options are still on the table. Nothing has been invalidated. So we need to see if we get the follow through here. Everything is primed and ready. We just need to see the price action follow through, basically. Okay. So what we were talking about yesterday was the possibility of looking for that breakout to the upside. And we were looking at this potentially as a 1-2, and then we were saying we needed to get up above this 1922 area. So the way I'm currently looking at this move is that if this is a 5-wave structure here, that we are still due a 5th wave to the upside. So you can potentially argue that within here you have a 3, 4, and a 5, and actually we completed something like this. But just due to the size of this wave 2, it doesn't really fit well, in my opinion, and I'd rather think that we still have a 4th wave playing out here, and that we have a 5th wave to the upside. However, if we do start to break down in a bigger way here, what we need to be careful of is just the fact that if we don't form a 4th wave here, the structure is a little bit questionable. So you would have to then start, just being careful of the fact that this could just be an ABC pattern, a 3-wave move to the upside here. And then actually we look to, continue to the downside. So this is what we need to be on the lookout for. If we do, however, break down here in 3-wave structure, something like this, coming back into these zones here of this 1881 to this 1849, potentially we can still look for that continuation to the upside, where this becomes 1, this becomes a 2, and then we look for that bigger, 5-way structure to the upside. If we do, however, form something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up into the zone of this 1977, we need to just be careful that within this, that basically we don't just have this as an A, B, and a C to the upside. And the reason that's important is I'll go over it, but that's to do with the diagonal. So this is why I'm looking out for this potential of just forming a 3-wave move up here, which could look to end that diagonal. So we'll go over that in a second. But basically, we need to be aware that the target is this 2050. If we fail to hold this 1849 and this 1826 range, we'll have to treat this potentially as just a 3-wave move here to the upside, especially if we don't come down, find support, and push up one more time. So what that would look like is basically like this. I'm going to just switch over to the alternative way of counting this. So what I'd be looking for is that potential that we still have a 4th and a 5th here. Looking for this zone of this 1959 to this 1945 region. And that would be based off of coming back down to this 382. If we come back down deeper, potentially this could change that target area to that 50%. That would change it to this 1966 to this 1948 zone. So this is what I'm looking out for. Potentially if we hold this higher range here, we can look for continuation in a 5th wave. But if we start to lose 50%, it becomes less likely, in which case, basically, what I'd be then looking for is that lower support range that we talked about in this count here. Basically, looking for the zone of this 1881 to this 1849. What we need to be careful of, though, is sometimes when these moves start to extend out here, we could start to see something like this, where this is a 1-2. We've had another 1-2 in here. We form another 1-2, and then we start to get really going to the upside. So I mean, we don't have any kind of confirmation. This is purely speculation at this point. But if we did have to see a strong move up past this 1974 region, potentially we could be looking at something like that, where the internal waves are starting to extend out. And then basically what I'd be looking out for, that would be, this would be a 1-2 again. This would be another 1-2. We'd get, a 5-wave move potentially up into this higher range here. Then we get a fourth and a fifth, and then we get another fourth and a fifth, something like this. So this would be if we extend out, but there's nothing really suggesting that at the moment, and I am still just looking for those counts that we just went over. So this is all looking for that bigger potential of basically looking to push us up into the zone confirm where we can confirm this bigger structure here, where we're looking for basically this as a 1-2, and then we're looking for this third wave up towards this 2141 area. So this is basically the bigger picture here. We're looking for this as a 1-2, seeing if we get this continuation to the upside here, and looking for this 2141 area. If we, however, just get a 3-wave move up, like I said, we need to just be careful here. Basically, it could still be corrective to the upside, which would mean that we're then actually still going to look for those lower prices to come in. So basically, this is going to be our zone 2141, and this 1-1 is here at this $2,000 area. So what we are looking for is whether we get this fourth, fifth here, whether we get breakdown for wave 2, 3, 4, 5, and then basically that could look to push us up to the zone. So if I just overlay those, basically it would make a bit more sense. So this internal count here, looking for this as 1-2. If we do form an additional fifth wave to the upside, looking out for support, then the push up towards this zone, us right into this area up here of this 2,441. So this could then actually look to, push up to this area, and then we'd have that 1-2-3, and then we'd be looking for that potential of a fourth wave, possibly finding support towards this 2000 zone again. So this is the bullish case here. And yeah, so this is what we're looking for. We need to see this move prove itself. Primarily, what I want to see is this fifth wave. This would make the structure much neater. But if we do just break down, as long as we find support in this lower range, this 1881 to this 1849, we can still look for that potential to push to the upside here. So this is going to be a key level. If we start to break down and take this 1826, yeah, we have to be very careful, because it could be something rather like this. So I'm going to just turn these off for a second. And we've been talking about this possibility of a flat correction here. We're looking at this as an A, potentially this is a B wave completed, and then looking for that potential of breaking to the downside here. And we were looking at the internals in this way yesterday, and I was looking for that possibility of actually having a running flat in here. But this is ABC, and then we're looking for that possibility of actually looking to break to the downside from here. We have come up higher than I would have liked to, as a basically as a as a wave 2 here. We've come up past this zone of the 786, where we have rejected and we have maintained this high. So for as long as we hold below this 1942, I'm just being cautious of the fact that, we could potentially count this differently, where we count this as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down into these lows 4 and then 5. And then we have just a 3-wave move up at the moment. That is the one way we can look at this, or alternatively, we could argue A, B, C, B, or W, X, Y. So W, X, and then Y. So these are still viable counts. We need to just be cautious here. Basically, until we actually get confirmation of that fourth. Like I said, we could potentially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but the structure isn't great in that way. If we had a fourth wave here and another fifth wave up, then that would make a lot more sense here. But it wouldn't really fit into this idea of a flat, because the C wave would be far too big at that point. So as long as we remain below this 1942, we'll need to just be on the lookout for something like this developing, where we form a bigger, 5-wave move. The problem is, now that we've come up here, as high as we have, that 1.618 is now shifted up towards this zone of this 1776 area, which would mean there wouldn't be a lot of space for this wave 4 to play out. And then basically we would be looking for, if we look at a typical zone here, would be potentially, I'm going to go back up into those highs there, into these lows rather. Would look potentially for this zone here, this 1762 to the 1742. Obviously, this is if we didn't get any extension. The thing is, if we do have a bigger move down like this, we'd have to, like I said, it would depend how we want to count it. If we count it into this low, this would also change the target because we would push it down to these areas here of the 1750. So we need to just keep an eye on this. As long as we don't break above 1942, I'm going to be on the lookout for that possibility of impulsive structure forming to the downside, and then we'll have to monitor it as we go. This would actually look a bit neater in my opinion, so I'm going to actually just leave it on this alternative here. And basically, this could then make us give us a target area lower down, which would actually coincide a little bit better with this lower support range that we're talking about for the C wave if we do actually break down into this zone. So this is what we're going to be careful of. If we can't get back above 1942, watch out for this possibility of extension to the downside. So the other thing that we talked about in the previous video was that possibility of a diagonal. I'm still on the lookout for this, where from further back here, we look at the potential of this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then from here, basically, we're looking at that potential to form an ABC to the upside. So if we do form this as a 1, 2, 3, and we get a fourth and a fifth, or alternatively, we just want to count this as a wave. If we get a B wave down and a C wave up, something like this, basically what I'd be looking out for is that potential to come back up here into this top trend line, which directly above us is sitting towards this 2000 area, 1990 sort of zone, and then possibly forming, like I said, a three-wave move to the upside. If that's the case, basically it's going to be the same idea as the bullish options, where we look at this either as 1, 2, 3, forming fourth, get a fifth, come back in three, get another five-wave move, except we get rejected off that 1-to-1 area. So if we do push up into this zone, basically some key areas that I would be looking for is the potential of this 0.618, and this is of that third wave, which would be here at this 1990, and we couldn't really cross above this 2101 area. If we cross above this, this invalidates this idea of having a diagonal here, and if we do form a diagonal here, we have two options really. Basically, we'd have to either look at this move as a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we look to push up in a much bigger way. Or alternatively, this could be an ABC. It could also be a fourth, and then this whole move is a fifth wave, but it would be very disproportionate to the rest of the structure here. So it's not my favorite way of looking at it, but we'll have to see what happens here. If we do form a diagonal here, this could be a terminal move within the structure, and that could lead us to having that possibility of coming back down deeper into some of these lower support zones where we're looking towards this 1650 to this the 1643 to this 1458 area. That would be the lower range here. So we need to just be aware that if we see something like this play out, this is going to be our key zone. Losing 1482 could then indicate we have further downside to come here. So this is what we're looking out for in the short term here. If we start to break down deeper, we still need to be aware that we do have that bearish count where we're looking for that potential of coming back down towards this 723 to this 523 range, and then even looking at this slightly different, a C wave could potentially take us towards that $400 area. So we'll have to just be careful with the structure. Like I said, it's got all the things it needs. It just needs to follow through with the price action. If we fail to achieve that price action, then we need to be careful. Primarily, I will be looking for if we start to break down. It depends how we break down here. If we don't form an ABC up, then this support box is no longer relevant. And what I'd be looking for then would be that possibility of that flat correction, where we are looking for these target areas rather. This ideally it would be between the 1775 and the 1682 range. But we'll have to see if we actually break back above this high of this 1943. If we do, then this option becomes less likely, and the diagonal is probably what is in play, or the bullish structure where we are looking for that direct push to the upside and looking for something like this to play out. Obviously, once we start, if we do form something like this, then it starts to tie into all these additional legs here, and it would be a very bullish count if this is the case, because you'd have you'd have one, two, three, four, five, and then basically from further back here you'd have one, two, and then you'd have another fourth and a fifth at the end here, and then another one, two, three, four, five, and then basically that would be looking for that potential of actually having this move push us up towards that key level that we're looking for a bigger 1-2 here, which is this 2,465. But we are far away from that. We have a lot of levels above us. There's a big zone up here between this 2030 all the way up to this 2159 region. So we need to just be careful. If we do continue to get rejected off this area, it is possible we could see this start to break down in a bigger way. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find links to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, you will find affiliate links for both Primax, BT, and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.